Imagine that classic image, right? A loyal sentinel, super alert, intelligent, with this impressive, noble presence, just radiates capability and devotion. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the world of German Shepherds, truly one of the most beloved and, well, versatile dog breeds globally. They're celebrated as fierce protectors, but also incredibly devoted family members. Now, you probably know them as German Shepherds. But historically, you might have heard them called Alsatians, especially in Britain, or maybe even shepherd dogs back in the US until the late 1970s. Whatever you call them, these dogs are really remarkable. Known for their high muscle mass, seemingly boundless energy, and of course those indispensable roles in police forces, search and rescue, steadfast guard dogs worldwide. So our mission here in this deep dive is basically to be your personalized shortcut. We want you to become truly well-informed about German Shepherds. We're going to extract the most important nuggets of knowledge from a whole stack of sources, covering everything from the specifics of the long-haired type, which people often debate, to really comprehensive guides on their nutrition, growth, health, and, critically, how to shape that super intelligent temperament. The goal is for you to walk away with a thorough understanding, but without feeling overloaded. You'll get surprising facts, practical insights, things that really empower you.
Exactly. And we've cast a pretty wide net for this. We've consulted a diverse range of expert sources. We've pulled from specialized articles on breed identification and care, really detailed dietary guides, growth charts that track their development, plus established health standards and crucial insights into temperament training from recognized authorities. It's all here, basically distilled for you.
Okay, great. So let's start with something that often captivates dog lovers. The sheer majesty, that visual impact of a long-haired German Shepherd. They really do have this unique look with that flowing fur. But what exactly defines them? And, for someone looking for one of these beautiful dogs, how can you really tell if that adorable puppy is actually going to be a long coat?
Yeah, that's a great question. And what's fascinating is long coat isn't just one single type. You might hear them called double long coat, long stock coat, or just long-haired German Shepherds. And identifying these specific puppies early on can be tricky. Their defining coat traits really become much clearer as they mature. So this brings up a really important question for anyone thinking about getting one. How do you confidently know what you're looking at, right?
Right, because you want to be sure you're getting what you expect, especially if you have a preference. Our sources, including insights from selfless beings, give us 8 pretty distinct ways to identify these luxurious, flowing fur babies. Apparently, unlike some of their short-haired cousins, these long coats often lack that really dense undercoat, which gives them that sleek, elegant look. So let's dig into those key identification methods.
Okay, so the first and honestly often the most reliable method is confirming the parentage. I mean, it makes sense. For a genuine long coat puppy, both the father, the sire, and the mother, the dam, they should possess long coats themselves. It's a genetically inherited trait. And a practical tip. If you're looking at a puppy online, definitely request mating videos or videos of the mother feeding the pups. It really helps confirm authenticity and, who the parents actually are.
That's a really smart move, verifying the source. Okay, so beyond the parents, are there immediate visual cues on the puppy itself you can look for?
Well, absolutely. You can check the ear fur. Long coat puppies often have these visible little tufts of fur right on top of their ears. That's a hallmark that distinguishes them from the stock coat puppies, which tend to have minimal fur there.
Tufts on the ears, okay.
Then, take a look at the backs of the puppy's front legs. You should notice a distinct, noticeable layer of fur there on long coat pups. It's usually absent in stock coat puppies. It seems subtle, but it's a strong indicator.
Huh. So it's not just about the overall length, but specific spots have telltale signs. What about the tail? That iconic German Shepherd tail.
Yeah, for long coats, the tail bushiness is a definite giveaway. Their tails are noticeably thicker, bushier, giving them that kind of characteristic plume shape. And alongside that, you want to observe the overall fur length and density. Long coat puppies have dense fur, usually ranging from about 1 to 2 inches long. And here's a practical test you can do. Gently rub the fur on the puppy's back against the natural growth direction. If your fingers really sink into thick, flowing fur, well, that's a pretty strong indicator you've got a long coat.
I can just picture doing that, getting your hands in there. That's a great practical tip. What else?
Another spot to check is the neck area, right behind the ears. Long coat puppies will show a prominent concentration of fur there. It gives them a fuller, sort of fluffier appearance around the neck.
Go ahead, neck fluff. Got it.
And don't overlook the muzzle hair. Long coat puppies have noticeably longer hair right on their muzzle compared to the typically shorter, smoother fur you see on stock coats.
And the last point was about the texture itself.
Exactly. The fur texture isn't usually perfectly straight. It often features slight layers or maybe even a semi-curly texture. It just adds a bit more depth to their overall look.
Hmm.
Out of all those 8 points, if you're only going to remember 2 or 3, I'd say focusing on the parentage, those ear cuffs, and the tail bushiness, those give you really strong indicators.
Okay, so they're visually stunning, no doubt. But what are the practical differences? The day-to-day stuff between living with a long hair versus a short-haired German Shepherd. What does that mean for their lifestyle and care?
Right. That's where it gets real. Looking at sources like Royal Tribes Canine and, owner discussions you see on places like Reddit, there are definite lifestyle implications. Grooming is probably the biggest
Mm.
one. Long-haired GSDs, they just require more frequent brushing. Think 2 to 3 times a week, minimum. And honestly, daily during shedding seasons, just to prevent tangles and mats.
Daily, wow.
Yeah, it can be intense. Short-haired coats are generally much easier to maintain in that respect.
Mhm.
Then there's weather adaptability. The long coats offer, well, better insulation in cold climates. But interestingly, it's worth noting that some long-haired GSDs lack that dense undercoat, which can actually make them more vulnerable to extreme temperatures, both hot and cold. Short-haired dogs are typically more comfortable in hotter regions.
And the million-dollar question for many potential owners,
Yeah.
shedding. Is one really worse than the other?
Shedding. Well, brace yourself either way because both types shed heavily, usually twice a year. It's just part of the package. What's interesting is the type of shedding. Some owners find the long hair shedding more noticeable because it clumps up into those, infamous fur tumbleweeds that just roll across your floor.
Oh, yeah, I know those well.
Right. But others argue the short hair can actually be worse because those shorter, maybe more brittle hairs somehow manage to weave themselves into everything. Furniture, clothes, you name it. So experiences vary. Heavy shedding is definitely a given for both, though.
And what about show standards? Does the coat length affect that?
It can. In some circuits, long coats might be less common in certain specific show rings.
Yeah.
However, they are absolutely equally valued for companionship and performance roles, things like agility or obedience.
Yeah.
And they are recognized as a breed standard in many parts of the world, like by the UK Kennel Club and in Australia.
Okay, so beyond just recognizing these beautiful traits, the journey to actually finding a long-haired German Shepherd that really gets into the ethics and the whole landscape of breeding, doesn't it?
It absolutely does, and this is really important. Discussions among enthusiasts, people who really know the breed, consistently emphasize finding ethical and reputable breeders. It's critical. There's a very valid concern about breeders who might prioritize just getting that long coat, maybe over health, temperament, or improving the breed overall. That's often associated with backyard breeding.
Right, chasing a look over substance.
Exactly. But it's also crucial to understand that many, many long-haired GSDs are ethically bred. They come from breeders who do rigorous health testing and have strong, proven bloodlines. We saw an example cited, Tilton House, known for breeding healthy pups with wonderful temperaments. Now, they do come with a significant price tag, often around $5,000.
Wow, that's a serious investment. But I guess for a well-bred dog, knowing they've prioritized health and temperament, that brings peace of mind, right?
It really does. Reputable breeders prioritize transparency. They'll readily share health certifications, lineage information, and often offer ongoing support for things like training and nutrition advice. That commitment is just crucial for a healthy, happy dog and ultimately a happy owner, too.
Okay, so we have a good handle on their physical makeup, the coat types, finding a good breeder. Now, what does all that mean for what goes in their food bowl? These aren't just beautiful dogs. Their history as powerful working animals means they have pretty unique energy demands that require specific dietary considerations throughout their entire lives.
Yeah, and this raises a really important point. German Shepherds are known for maintaining that high muscle mass and those high energy levels. This demands a carefully tailored and, importantly, a dynamic diet throughout their life. I think the big picture takeaway for GSD nutrition is that it isn't static. It's not a set it and forget it thing. It's a lifelong adjustment based on their changing energy needs, their growth stages. So the question becomes, how do we ensure they get that optimal balance of nutrients at every single stage?
Good question. According to one of our sources, Pat My Pets, German Shepherds need a precise balance. Protein, fat, carbohydrates, all from high-quality, healthy sources. And a protein-rich diet is really paramount. Think about high-quality options like duck, turkey, or chicken-based formulas. You often find these in brands like Instinct, Turducken, or maybe Merrick's specialized lines for large breeds.
Yeah, and beyond those main macronutrients, the essential nutrients also include all the required vitamins, minerals, and those important fatty acids like omega-3s and 6s. For adults, generally, you're looking at a diet with about 18–22% protein, and their total daily calories can range pretty widely from maybe 1,200 up to 2,100 calories. It really depends heavily on their activity level, their age, and their overall health status.
And those needs change so dramatically as they grow, right? From those tiny little pups to powerful adults. Let's start with the smallest ones, the newborns.
Right. Newborns, so we're talking 0 to 2 months, they typically weigh between, say, 370 and 600 grams at birth, and they often double their weight weekly. That makes consistent milk feeding absolutely crucial. The key during this phase is frequent small feedings. You might start every 2 hours for newborns, then gradually space it out to maybe every 4 or 5 hours by the time they're 4 weeks old, obviously increasing the volume as they grow. And if you need milk replacers, make sure they're high in energy and protein, include DHA for cognitive and nervous system development, and have a formula that's easy to digest.
Okay, and then they hit that super energetic puppyhood phase, say 2 to 5 months. What changes then?
Oh yeah, that's when the energy really kicks in. During this period, puppies have just immense energy. They need plenty of healthy calories to fuel that rapid growth. Diet-wise, you're looking at around 22% protein. That's crucial for building lean muscle and strength. And about 5–8% fat content supports healthy skin and gives them that lustrous coat. Calcium and phosphorus are also vital now for developing strong bones and joints. The actual amount of food will scale up based on their projected adult weight, but maintaining that consistent, high-quality nutrient profile is absolutely key.
Then comes the main growing phase, maybe 6 to 12 months when they're really stretching out and filling in.
Yep. Growing GSDs in this stage typically need around 1,700 calories a day, often split into 3 meals. The primary ingredients should still be those whole meat proteins, poultry, fish, beef, and definitely avoid synthetic preservatives. The diet now should contain around 18% protein, slightly less than peak puppyhood, but still high for sustained energy and muscle maintenance. About 5% fat for energy and skin health. And high fiber is important now too for digestive health and helping maintain an ideal body weight as growth starts to slow a bit. Oh, and vitamin C becomes important here for joint health, potentially helping to prevent issues like hip dysplasia and arthritis down the line.
Right, getting those foundations strong. And what about our adult German shepherds, say a year and older? Their activity levels can vary so much.
That's a key point. Adult GSDs can definitely be prone to obesity if you're not careful, so managing their diet is crucial. While a moderate protein and fat diet is perfectly fine if they get regular, vigorous exercise, a diet that's a bit lower in protein and fat, and maybe richer in fiber, is often preferred for less active dogs or as they get older. Senior German Shepherds, for instance, typically consume closer to 1,200 calories daily. They really benefit from additional vitamins and minerals for bone and joint health. And fish oil, specifically omega-3s, provides excellent anti-inflammatory effects for those aging joints.
Makes sense.
Diets with a low glycemic index and fewer carbs are also generally preferred for older GSDs who might be more susceptible to obesity and diabetes. For an average adult, you're usually looking at daily portions split into at least 2, maybe 3 meals to aid digestion and manage hunger.
Wow, okay. So it really sounds like their diet is this constantly evolving science throughout their life. What are some of the most common pitfalls or mistakes owners should absolutely avoid when choosing food for their German Shepherd?
Probably the biggest pitfall is not recognizing that the diet must be tailored. Tailored to the individual dog's breed specifics, yes, but also their age, activity level, and any specific health concerns they might have. It's not one size fits all. For instance, if your German Shepherd has a sensitive stomach, which isn't uncommon, maybe switching from dry kibble to a high-quality wet dog food could help. It aids digestion and adds hydration.
That's point.
Also, allergies. If they happen to be allergic to a common protein like chicken, don't just give up. Try other high-quality, ethically sourced protein alternatives, duck, lamb, fish, things like that. And to proactively address those common joint issues we mentioned, like hip or elbow dysplasia, incorporating something like bone broth into their diet can be really beneficial. It's great for joint health.
Bone broth, interesting.
Yeah. And wet dog foods, in general, can be excellent for their high protein and fat content, and again, for keeping dogs well hydrated. Finally, if you decide to go the homemade diet route, which is a big commitment, it must be meticulously balanced. You need the right ratios of proteins, carbohydrates, fats, vitamins, and minerals, focusing on fresh, whole ingredients. You really need veterinary guidance for that.
It's just incredible how fast these puppies shoot up into these powerful adults. But how do you really know when your German Shepherd is actually grown up? And what kind of physical changes can you anticipate as they, fill out.
Yeah, this brings up an important point about managing expectations, right?
Right.
And ensuring their development is healthy. Because they're a large breed, their growth isn't just a simple straight line. It involves distinct phases that actually extend over several years. They really do take their time to fully mature.
Yeah, I was looking at Policy Advisor, and they say German Shepherds aren't truly considered fully grown until they're about 18 months old, but the journey actually continues even beyond that point.
That's absolutely right. Female German Shepherds often continue to physically fill out, you know, gain substance until they're around 2 years old. And male German Shepherds, they have a slightly longer growth curve. They can continue to develop until they're 2.5 years old, sometimes even a bit longer, particularly filling out in their chest and abdomen area.
2.5 years, wow.
Yeah. So while the vast majority of their height and weight gain happens within those first 24 months, these dogs can genuinely continue to grow and mature until they hit 3 years old.
Okay, so to give people a clearer picture, let's maybe look at some key milestones from those growth charts. For a male German Shepherd pup, at 1 month, they're tiny, maybe 4 or 6 inches tall, 5.59 pounds. Fast forward to 6 months, they're usually around 16, 18 inches tall and weighing in the range of 49, 57 pounds, average about 53. By 1 year, you'll likely see them at 22, 24 inches tall and 71, 79 pounds. And then when they're considered full size, around that 3 year mark, they'll often be 24, 26 inches tall and weigh 79, 88 pounds.
And for the females, the pattern is similar, just slightly smaller scale. At 1 month, maybe 6 inches tall, 4.58 pounds. By 6 months, they average 15, 17 inches tall and around 44, 49 pounds, maybe 46 pounds on average. At 1 year, they hit 22 inches tall and 60, 64 pounds. And then by 3 years, fully matured, they're typically 22, 24 inches tall and weigh 66, 70 pounds. Now, it is really important to stress these numbers are just estimates, averages. Don't panic if your puppy is slightly above or below these ranges. Regular vet checkups are the key to making sure your specific dog is progressing healthily.
That's a really important reminder. Every dog is an individual. So, what are the most reliable ways for an owner to kind of gauge if their German Shepherd still has some growing left to do, besides just looking at the calendar?
Well, the calendar is a good first indicator. If your GSD is younger than 2 years old, chances are almost certain they still have more growing, or at least filling out to do. Another classic sign, especially in adolescence, is if their paws look sort of disproportionately large compared to their legs and body. You know, those big puppy paws. Sometimes people joke about them having dinner plate paws. That's usually a sign they're still growing into them.
Right, the awkward teenage phase.
Exactly. And if you got your German Shepherd from a reputable breeder, they can often give you a pretty good estimate of the dog's likely adult weight based on the parents and maybe previous litters from the same pairing. Generally, a dog isn't going to grow significantly larger than its larger parent.
Okay. And just for reference, what's the official full-grown size according to, say, the American Kennel Club German Shepherd standard? What's that benchmark we often look to?
According to the AKC standard, an adult male typically stands 24 to 26 inches tall at the shoulder and weighs between 75 and 90 pounds. And an adult female is typically 22, 24 inches tall and weighs between 55 and 70 pounds.
Okay. So moving beyond just reaching a certain size, ensuring healthy growth is really about setting them up for a long, vibrant life, right? And preventing issues like obesity. This feels like where it gets really critical for their long-term well-being.
Absolutely. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, maintaining an optimal weight throughout their life is just paramount for their long-term health. It's not just about looks. The American Veterinary Medical Association estimates that carrying extra weight can decrease a pet's overall life expectancy by more than 2 years. 2 years. For a large, active breed like the German Shepherd, this has huge implications, especially for their joint health and overall well-being as they age. So this raises that important question again. What proactive steps can owners take, starting right from puppyhood, to ensure their dog maintains that ideal weight and avoids those risks?
Yeah, it seems like preventative care is just crucial. And that boils down to that well-rounded diet we talked about, tailored to their specific needs, coupled with sufficient appropriate exercise.
And regular veterinary consultation is absolutely key here. Don't guess. Regularly discuss your German Shepherd's ideal weight range with your vet. Be open to discussing any needed lifestyle adjustments, specific diets, even the type and quantity of treats, or the exact food portions. Consistent, regular vet appointments are crucial, not just for vaccinations and general checkups, but for that ongoing health assessment, getting wellness recommendations, and really importantly, for the early detection of common breed-specific conditions.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about that magnificent coat and their powerful physique, but beneath it all, German shepherds, like all breeds really, come with their own set of potential health considerations. Being informed feels like the first and maybe best line of defense for owners.
Yeah, what's fascinating here, or maybe concerning, depending on how you look at it, is that while long-haired German Shepherds share many of the same genetic health risks as their short-haired counterparts, that luxurious coat can sometimes introduce additional considerations, particularly around skin health and grooming. So this raises that vital question. How can owners be truly proactive in understanding and managing these potential challenges throughout their dog's life? What should they be looking out for?
Well, one of the most talked about issues, and it affects all German Shepherds regardless of coat length, is hip dysplasia. Basically, think of it like a poorly fitting ball and socket joint in the hip. Over time, it can grind, cause discomfort, reduce their mobility, and potentially lead to painful arthritis. It's primarily genetic, but things like rapid growth during puppyhood or carrying excess weight can definitely worsen it. You'd want to watch for signs like stiffness, maybe a reluctance to climb stairs, or difficulty getting up after resting.
Right. And similarly, there's elbow dysplasia. It's the same kind of issue. Improper development, but in the elbow joint. It results in pain, inflammation, sometimes lameness. You often notice signs during the dog's main growth phase. Then there's a more serious condition, degenerative myelopathy, or DM. This is a progressive disease of the spinal cord that primarily affects older German shepherds. It typically starts with weakness in the hind limbs and, sadly, can eventually lead to paralysis. It's understood to be genetic, not related to coat length. Early signs might include dragging paws or difficulty rising from a lying down position.
That sounds heartbreaking. And another really serious one, especially for deep-chested breeds like GSDs, is gastric dilatation volvulus, which most people know as bloat or GDV. This is a genuine emergency. The stomach fills with gas and then twists on itself, cutting off blood flow. It requires immediate veterinary intervention. Time is absolutely critical. Symptoms to watch for are a suddenly swollen abdomen, trying to vomit but nothing coming up, unproductive vomiting, and restlessness or pacing.
It's terrifying. And a key preventative measure there is managing meals specifically, avoiding vigorous exercise immediately before or after eating. Let them rest. And then, particularly relevant for our long-haired friends we've been discussing, skin allergies infections can sometimes be a heightened concern. That long, thick coat, beautiful as it is, can unfortunately trap dirt, allergens, moisture, making them potentially more susceptible to skin infections, those nasty hot spots, or general irritation.
Right.
And if mats and tangles aren't addressed through really regular grooming, they can definitely make things worse by trapping moisture right against the skin and preventing air from circulating properly.
Okay, so given these potential challenges, how truly crucial is health testing when you're choosing a German Shepherd puppy? Is there a common mistake owners might make in this area? It's incredibly important. Honestly, the biggest mistake is probably not prioritizing health screenings when choosing a breeder. It might feel like an upfront cost or hassle, but it's crucial for ensuring a puppy gets the best possible start in life. Doing so significantly reduces the likelihood of some of these devastating genetic conditions emerging later on. Health testing from reputable breeders, we mentioned Middle West as an example that emphasizes this, revealed hidden risks. It allows breeders to make informed decisions, pairing dogs responsibly to create healthier bloodlines over time.
That makes total sense. So what kind of specific tests should prospective owners be actively looking for and asking breeders about? You should definitely be asking about hip and elbow evaluations. Organizations like the Orthopedic Foundation for Animals, the OFA, provide certifications based on x-rays to assess joint health and screen for dysplasia. Ask to see those OFA scores for the parents. Also, genetic testing for degenerative myelopathy, DM, is becoming more common and is very important. DNA tests can pinpoint if a dog carries the genes linked to this progressive spinal disease, helping responsible breeders reduce its prevalence in future generations.
Okay, hips, elbows, DM testing.
And especially for long-coated dogs, while maybe not a formal test like OFA, you want a breeder who is knowledgeable about potential skin issues and whose dogs generally have healthy skin and coats. Regular skin and coat assessments through routine veterinary checkups become particularly important once you have the dog to catch any allergies or infections early.
Right. So beyond that crucial initial testing and selection, what about the day-to-day proactive care, the management stuff that ensures a long, healthy life for these dogs?
Well, proper nutrition is absolutely foundational, as we discussed. A well-balanced diet with high-quality proteins, essential fatty acids like omega-3 and omega-6, it's vital for their overall health, but also specifically for maintaining healthy skin and a vibrant coat. And correct portion sizes are key to preventing obesity, which, as we know, can worsen joint problems significantly. Also, splitting their daily food into 2 or maybe even 3 smaller meals helps prevent overeating and also significantly reduces that risk of bloat.
Makes sense, and they're such active dogs, right? So consistent physical activity must be non-negotiable.
Oh, absolutely. German Shepherds are energetic, intelligent dogs. They need at least an hour of daily activity. This could be brisk walks, runs, hikes, a good game of fetch, something that gets their body moving and their mind engaged.
Right.
And as they get older, you'll want to shift towards lower impact exercise, maybe gentle walks or swimming, which is fantastic for protecting those aging joints while still keeping them fit.
Okay. And for our long-haired friends specifically, that grooming and skin health piece requires really consistent, diligent care, doesn't it?
It's paramount. You just can't slack on it. Regular brushing, ideally, you're looking at every other day. And honestly, daily during those heavy shedding seasons is essential to remove loose fur and prevent mats and tangles from forming in the first place. Baths. Probably every 6 to 8 weeks is sufficient, unless they get particularly dirty. Always use a dog-specific shampoo. And critically, make sure you thoroughly dry the coat right down to the skin to prevent trapped moisture, which can lead to skin infections.
Good tip on the drying.
Yeah. And of course, don't forget the routine stuff like nail trims and ear cleaning to round out their grooming regimen.
And finally, just general vet care throughout their lives. What's the key takeaway there?
Regular veterinary appointments are just crucial for everything. Vaccinations, parasite prevention, fleas, ticks, heartworms, dental care, which is often overlooked, and those vital health screenings we talked about. Your vet is your partner in catching any breed-specific conditions early, like bloat risks or GI issues, and discussing spaying or neutering with your vet is important too, as it can help prevent certain health issues and sometimes behavioral problems down the road.
Okay, wow. We've covered so much about their physical form, their health. Now, let's shift gears a bit and talk about raising a well-adjusted, loyal companion. Because it's not just about their physical health, is it? It's their mental and emotional well-being, too. And apparently, it starts surprisingly early.
Yeah, this raises such an important question about the truly profound impact of those early experiences on a German Shepherd's character, their whole personality. They are, without a doubt, among the most intelligent and versatile dog breeds out there, renowned for their trainability, their eagerness to please, their desire to work with you. And that capacity, that intelligence, means that temperament training isn't just like beneficial, it's really the bedrock. It's the foundation for creating a balanced, happy, reliable companion. They're so smart, sometimes you might even wonder if they're the ones training us. It
Yeah.
definitely feels that way sometimes, doesn't it? Sources like Kaiser German Shepherd really emphasize that a pup's temperament development literally begins the moment they open their eyes. Those positive experiences during the critical first 8 weeks of life, they lay the groundwork for a confident, well-adjusted adult dog. Early, positive exposure to diverse environments, various people, different ages, appearances, and other animals fosters that relaxed, friendly demeanor. It significantly reduces the likelihood of fear-based aggression or other socialization problems later on. Exactly. And the long-term benefits, for both the dog and the owner, they're truly immense. A well-tempered dog just enhances that bond you have. It leads to this unbreakable, respectful, loving partnership. It also promotes better coping skills in the dog, better adaptability, better stress management. It really transforms them from just being a pet into an integral, cherished member of the family unit.
So, when we talk about effective temperament training, what's rule number 1? It sounds like start early and be consistent is right at the top. Training really begins on day 1, doesn't it? Establishing a routine for feeding, for bathroom breaks, and incorporating short meal. That consistency, that predictability, it's absolutely crucial for highly intelligent dogs like German Shepherds. You can even start using simple commands like sit and stay almost as soon as they're toddling around.
Absolutely. And perhaps the most critical aspect, especially considering their protective nature, is positive socialization with people and other animals. This means controlled, overwhelmingly positive exposure to a wide variety of people, different ages, sizes, wearing hats, carrying things, and diverse, safe environments. This cultivates a tolerant, confident, sociable dog. Similarly, supervised, positive interactions with other well-behaved dogs teach them appropriate play behaviors, canine communication, and help prevent aggression that often stems from fear or lack of social skills. The key is that every interaction should be positive and never overwhelm the puppy. Quality over quantity.
Okay, so it's all about building positive associations and confidence, which means positive reinforcement techniques are the way to go, right? Not harsh methods.
Exactly. German Shepherds, being so intelligent and often sensitive, respond much better to praise and rewards for good behaviors, rather than punishment for unwanted actions. Develop a clear, consistent marker word, like a quick yes or good, the instant they do the right thing, followed immediately by a high-value treat or a favorite toy. Avoid yelling. Avoid physical punishment. That can easily lead to anxiety, fear, or even aggression in this breed. Instead, focus on redirecting undesirable behaviors onto something appropriate. Catch them being good.
Right. And it also sounds vital to truly understand their breed-specific traits when you're approaching training. You can't train them like a golden retriever necessarily.
That's a fantastic point. Recognizing their inherent qualities is crucial for setting realistic and effective training goals. German Shepherds are naturally protective. That's part of their makeup. So, controlled exposure to new people and environments is especially important to channel that protectiveness appropriately, teaching them discernment rather than suspicion. They are also incredibly energetic, both physically and mentally. They require ample stimulation to prevent boredom, which can quickly lead to destructive behaviors like chewing or digging. So, you need to tailor training to harness these traits positively. Engage them in things like agility courses, scent work games, advanced obedience activities that challenge their minds and bodies.
Of course, training any puppy, especially one as smart and sometimes strong-willed as a German Shepherd, isn't always going to be smooth sailing. What are some common challenges owners often face, and how can they overcome them?
I think the biggest challenge is simply patience and perseverance. Training a puppy takes time, consistency, and a lot of patience, especially an intelligent one like a GSD who might test boundaries. Setbacks are a totally normal part of the learning process. Every dog learns at its own pace. The key is consistency in your approach, focusing on the progress you are making, however small, rather than aiming for instant perfection. Keep sessions short and fun.
That's good advice. Don't get discouraged.
Exactly. And please, don't hesitate to seek professional guidance, especially if you're a first-time GSD owner or if you're running into specific challenges. A qualified, positive reinforcement-based trainer can offer customized strategies tailored to your dog. They can help ensure you're not accidentally reinforcing problematic behaviors and provide invaluable socialization opportunities through well-run group classes. Honestly, investing in professional guidance early on is truly an investment in your German Shepherd's lifelong happiness and well-being and your own sanity.
What an incredible journey through the world of German Shepherds we've taken today. Wow. From really learning how to identify that stunning long coat to understanding their very nuanced, evolving health and nutritional needs and the just foundational power of that early, consistent training. Hopefully you feel like you're now equipped with a real wealth of knowledge to truly appreciate and, more importantly, care for this magnificent breed.
Yeah, and if we kind of connect this all back to the bigger picture, the dedication it takes.
Yeah.
The dedication to truly understanding these animals, whether it's in selecting a responsible breeder, carefully tailoring their dynamic nutrition needs, or fully committing to their lifelong care and training, it really reflects the depth and the reward of the human-animal bond. This knowledge, the kind we've unpacked today, it empowers you, the owner, to foster that bond in the most meaningful and impactful way possible.
Absolutely. Let's quickly recap maybe just a few of the most impactful insights from our deep dive today. We learned those one or two most reliable ways to identify a long-haired German Shepherd puppy, really focusing on checking the parentage and looking for those little ear tufts.
And we really highlighted that a German Shepherd's nutrition isn't static. It's a dynamic, lifelong adjustment. You're moving from those frequent milk feedings for newborns through distinct, high-energy puppy phases requiring specific protein levels to carefully managed adult diets, considering activity and age, and remembering their growth is a multi-year process, right? With males sometimes continuing to fill out until they're 2.5, even 3 years old.
Right. And we explored those critical health challenges, things like hip and elbow dysplasia, that concerning degenerative myelopathy, and the life-threatening risk of bloat. We really emphasized the absolutely essential role of proactive health testing from breeders up front, and then diligent ongoing veterinary care throughout their life for long-term well-being.
And finally, we really dug into the foundational impact of early temperament training. That positive socialization is key, using consistent positive reinforcement to shape a confident, loyal, and truly well-adjusted companion, making sure their brilliant minds are channeled productively for good.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. Consider this. A German Shepherd's unmatched loyalty, their incredible intelligence, their versatility, these aren't just innate qualities they're born with. In many ways, they are a direct reflection of the informed, dedicated care and the purposeful partnership that you offer them. What truly makes this breed man's best friend isn't just in their nature, but in how deeply we choose to understand, nurture, and ultimately fulfill their full, remarkable potential.